Welcome to Build Your Maverick Business, the podcast for underdog, outlier, and renegade entrepreneurs. Brought to you by Strange Creative Studio. If you dream of going off on your own and launching your rebel empire, but don't know where to start, you're in the right place. We'll teach you how to use mindset, branding, and practical advice to build a killer business and transform your world. And now, here's your host, founder of Strange, Alex Pitt.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I really have gotten into this nasty habit of waking up in the morning, drinking coffee the strength of motor oil, having not had breakfast, ending up feeling like I'm in one of those B&Q paint mixing machines because I've got the full-on juddering shakes, wondering why the hell I keep making this mistake every morning, and then doing it all again the next day. So here we are, I've had to have a little bit of toast, balance myself out. But I tell you what, that is my only gripe from the last 24 hours because I am on a bit of a high from finding this fucking amazing business network that couldn't be more perfect if I had created it myself. So I went on one of these virtual networking calls, and within about 20 seconds of me doing my little intro, I only had about 20 seconds to do the intro itself. So I did what I usually do, quickly explain that I'm a weirdo, swore my tits off. And yeah, within about 20 seconds of doing it, I had about 5 LinkedIn requests from people saying, haha, you said fuck, can we be mates? And I was like, yeah, we can. So they've got a little community of people, and I posted in this little group, and I said, you know, this is who I am, here's a picture of me, and this is what I do for a living. And I just ended up having these really nice little chats in the comments with people who really resonated with what I had to say. And I was the same. I was scrolling through all their posts, and I was like, there's a bunch of weirdos in here. I feel like the mothership's calling me home. There were some sweary anti-corporate heroes in there, my kind of crowd. And this is deeply in contrast with some of the other events that I've been on. I've been on so many of these networking calls, in person and online. And let me tell you, they don't always go like that. In fact, they don't usually go like that. It was an absolute treat because this is what usually happens. You go on the call. Everyone gets explained the format. First up to introduce himself is generic Johnny Corporate number 1. He'll come on, introduce himself, and he's lost you within the first 3 seconds. He starts talking in jargon, in phrases that mean nothing to you. Something fractional agility emerging frontier finance solutions in the dilbert industry, and you think, what? And bless his little polyester tie, he very sweetly asks that anyone listening repeats all of that and mention his name if an opportunity arises that you think he would be a good fit for. And you think, oh mate, even if I wanted to. He thanks you all, and he hands over to generic Johnny Corporate number 2. And here we go again. Rinse and repeat. Now I only tease. I know I'm being mean, but I'm only teasing about the Johnny Corporates because, like I say, they're often very sweet. But they are not my crowd, nor am I theirs. We hang out in different circles, and that's okay. It is absolutely in our best interests to politely avoid one another. Let me tell you, I have worked with people who were not my ideal client or customer before, and it doesn't work. At best, there's been this awkward elephant in the room during a project, like, this isn't working. We all know it's not working. We're on completely different wavelengths. And someone's going to have to call time on this soon, right? That's best case scenario. At worst, I've had clients who are rude, patronising, who insult people on the Strange team, which, by the way, you can call me a lanky moron goth bastard all you like. But if you're mean to my crew, Now we can't always see into the future, right? Some experiences are unavoidable. But you know how you alleviate that risk straight away? By knowing who your dream clients are, who you really, really, really want to work with in an ideal world, if there were no knobheads. Now, I've mentioned before a business strategist who I follow a lot of her teaching, Lisa Johnson. And one of the things that she says a lot is that you should be able to answer 100 questions about that ideal client or customer. Now, recently I had the opportunity to get some feedback directly from Lisa herself because I was doing one of her programs. Part of the feedback that I got was on a business idea, some product ideas, what I wanted to build. Part of that was I had to send over a very detailed analysis of who this ideal customer and client is. So I'm going to share a little bit of a snippet with you by way of example. It's too long to read the whole thing, but here we go. So I started this off, Maverick business owners, Maverick meaning an unorthodox or independent-minded person. So essentially the outliers, the underdogs and the renegades of the business world. No Johnny Corporates. So the people I'm trying to speak to are those who have spent their lives feeling like outsiders or weirdos. They've been in some way rejected by society for not fitting in. They are excluded from this entrepreneurial world, or they feel like they are, for one of many reasons, including, but not limited to, their personal style or aesthetic is considered too out there. They're neurodiverse and they've always needed to navigate the world in their own way. Their personal brand is anti-corporate, bold and daring and considered unprofessional. They reject the status quo of the 9-to-5 and big corporations and champion new ways of working and making money. They're the kind of people who have had to cover their tattoos or tone down their hot pink hair for their 9-to-5 job. They are anti-establishment, hate jargon and the textbook way of running a business. And finally, they love a swear. Now that is probably about 10% of what was actually down there, right? I went into some sickening detail about where they drink, the bands they listen to, the brands that they buy, the clothes that they wear, all of this kind of stuff. Their demographics, their desires, their income level, how they dress, their favourite bands, where they like to hang out, what gets them out of bed in the morning and what really pisses them off. Now when I record this podcast, I am usually looking out of a window, staring at some trees, glancing at my notes every now and then, but you know I'm not much of a planner. I don't have an audience present, but I can picture you all sat there. I know how I need to show up, how I need to speak, what I need to relay to you, how I need to be within my own business to attract those ideal dream customers, my raving fan base. I am not trying to appeal to everyone so that I miss out on reaching anyone. Speak to everyone, speak to no one. And that's the reality of what happens when you don't do this work, when you don't have a crystal clear picture of who you are trying to seek out. Now, I am currently gearing up to create my business strategy for 2024 and beyond. And this ideal customer step is absolute number one. This ideal customer step is the absolute basis of the business that I've built, from the name to the branding to the products that I put out there, everything. It is bread and butter. You have got to get that shit down and nailed and know who you're serving. It'll carve out such a clear path for what you should focus on to build that rebel empire of yours. All right, you lot, that's it from me. Be really honest with yourself. Who would you absolutely love to work with in an ideal world? Then put on your blinkers, cut out the faff, and only talk to them. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll catch you here next time. If you love what you're hearing in this podcast, but you are still yet to start that rebel empire of your own, I've got something that might help. Head over to the show notes of this episode where you will find a free 7-step action plan to kickstarting your first side hustle. It's got pretty pictures, it's got activities. What more could you want, my loves? Get it downloaded, try it out, let me know how you get on.